Hey yogis, welcome to this very short, I hope, split class. So we are going to start right away with an exercise where you need something that can slide on your ground. So it can be paper if you have carpets, it can be socks, it can be anything. And this is just to warm up your hamstrings and feel that glute a little bit and know where these muscles are and how to strengthen them, because we overlook them quite a lot in yoga. And you have to have some space away from your yoga mat. So you either bend your yoga mat if you like to do that, or you like roll it away, or do something that you can basically lie on it and move it the upper part of your body. So your butt can stay on the mat and your head is going to be on the mat, but your legs are off. Something very familiar to you if you ever did yoga. Bridge pose. You lift your hips, but this is going to be a little bit different, and we're trying to do a straight line from the knees through the hips all the way through your ribs, staying in your body, not all the way bulging out, but staying neutral, still with the availability for your breath to move it in and out. And then you can always press the shoulders a little bit more into the mat, lifting the middle section of your back where your spine is. Your head can relax. So you're using your glutes to lift, to create that straight line from your hips. You can make very robotic-like arms with your fingers pointing up, and then focus on your feet. So what your feet do, you can bring your toes up, wiggle them, and activating the bottoms of your feet, and pressing from your heels a little bit more should again create that engagement from your hips. Take an inhale and exhale, just release down. Take a little break. You can windshield wipe your knees, the right to the left, or you can just take like a non-moving kind of break, even closing your eyes. Inhale and inhale, exhale. Then come back, feet underneath your knees. Knees as wide as your hips. Lift the hips up. Find that straight line. Press from your heels. We're going to start with one leg only. So we will try to keep pressure and weight on the right heel. We can flex the foot actually away from the ground. And then we are going to slide the heel forward, keeping the hips the same height. So trying to keep the hips high. Maybe going all the way to a straight knee and then sliding it back very, very slowly in a controlled way. And then change. So the left foot, you can stay on the ground. You can lift the front of the foot. Slowly slide it forward. It will be actually harder to slide it if you're on the heel. And then slide it back. And then take a break. You should feel the whole backside, back chain activating also maybe on your back. Even though we are trying to keep the core engaged, you will feel it activating. Coming for a second round, again, hips up. Bring yourself up onto your shoulder tips, onto your shoulder blades. Activate your ribs, your glutes. And you can go again, one foot at a time, or you can try both feet. Sliding forward, keeping your hips really, really high. Maybe going 4 straight knees. And then sliding back underneath your knees. Maybe one more time. Maybe just one foot at a time. Hopefully your hamstrings are not cramping like mine. They were not ready for this. So trying what is your maximum, and then releasing. Bring your knees to your chest. Whew. Take an inhale and exhale. And then grab underneath your knees. and roll the spine or round the spine, so you can do little movement rolls back and forth. This is more just to have a little bit of something different happening to distract your mind until you can sit. Rearrange your mat if you need. And we'll come into our seat and just take a little break here. This is yoga about taking breaks. Yoga is actually taking breaks quite a lot, so listening always to what you need, what you feel, and then as we're focusing on what we are feeling, try to feel your hamstrings here, the back of your thighs, your glutes. And although you might think that the splits are all about the hamstrings, they're actually about the opening on your hips, which we already were doing. So also strengthening the backside is important as well as lengthening it. Deep breath in through your nose. And maybe opening the mouth and sighing it out through the mouth. And place the palms onto the ground. Take a few cat-cows in your tabletop position. Inhaling into your cow, tilt, exhaling into the cat, rounding the spine. You can do any kind of variation of cat-cow actually. It doesn't really need to be just back and forward or front side, back side. It can be also side body. It can be moving the spine in circle, bending the elbows, changing directions, any kind of movement, fluidity into your spine, into your neck also, which is part of your spine, into your upper back, into your shoulder blades, into your low back, into your hips also, so noticing how the hips move, how they bend, hinge forward in your cow, how they open in your cat, and then tuck your toes. If you still have socks, maybe now it's a good idea to remove them so you have better grip and more mobility for your toes. And come into your downward facing dog, and this is the first pose where what's most apparent is the hamstrings probably. So people like to bend the knees one at a time, to stretch one hamstring at a time, which feels less intense as if you were doing both hamstrings. And in order to bring more of that hamstring stretch into your downward facing dog, what you can do is focus again on what's happening in your hips, because hamstrings are going all the way from the bottom of your knee through the back thigh, and they attach onto your sitting bones. So by moving your sitting bones slightly will affect your hamstrings in a big way. You can always bend the knees rather. So not focusing on where we feel it most when the knees are straight, and sometimes even locking the knee, so having the quadriceps not working and the knees like very sadly sliding down, but rather having the quadriceps really working, but bending the knee also a little bit. So the other part of your hamstring is going to be rather allowing you to create some space, and we are going to focus on what's happening in the hips. So sometimes you can see like down dogs with very sad hips, pointing the sitting bones down, and we are trying to go for the opposite kind of thing, even bringing almost that natural back bend into your low back. So finding also neutral spine in the process, which might be actually good to change your down dog a little bit. So you can imagine doing a cow tilt with your hips, sitting bones reach up, the belly is slightly active, the ribs are in, sitting bones higher, and then maybe you try to bring your heels a little bit lower, maybe going straighter in your knees. Relax your head wherever you are. Inhale and exhale. And then walk the feet forward onto your tippy toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, sitting bones up, chest opens. Exhale, sitting bones even higher as you reach through the crown of your head down towards the ground. One more time. Inhale, imagine cow tilt. Sitting bones higher, but squeeze the inner thighs at the same time. And exhale, engage from your front ribs as you reach down and even transfer the weight more over to your toes. Then come up into standing, reaching first with your chest, so creating that cow tilt. Arms up, maybe slight back bend if you're into it. Exhale, palms to your chest. Okay, then transfer the weight to the left leg. Bring the right knee to your chest and you want to squeeze the heel towards you. Same thing as with your hamstrings is working for your hip flexor. So if you are stretching it, then you want to also strengthen it. But also, if you want to open your hamstrings, you have to find really strong hip flexors, which we are doing here. This is hip flexion. The knee goes in, and then there is also a little bit of hamstring action by squeezing the heel towards you. Then you're working on strong glutes on your left side by pressing through your left foot. You can bring the palms to your chest, then flex your right heel. Inhale, press it forward, and then exhale, bend it back. One more time. Inhale, press forward, heel super high, spread your toes. Exhale, back. Then release the foot down, but keep it hovering above like half an inch, 1 centimeter. Inhale, find length, press from your standing foot, and then exhale, release the hands beside you and hinge in the hips. So only the hips hinge, nothing else moves. Inhale, come up. And exhale, bend forward. Don't have to go really necessarily alongside the ground with your upper body. You just try to go as low as your hips allow. So you are keeping the spine still straight. You can create small bend in your standing leg to go a little bit deeper. So your sitting bones are pointing back. And then extend the right leg behind you. Inhale. Find length, exhale, firm the front ribs. In, then inhale, create back bend, lifting the right leg, squeezing the inner thighs, opening your chest forward, and exhale, palms down. You can go through vinyasa here, into your chaturanga with your exhale, or going all the way onto your belly, inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Again, spend some time here in your down dog, finding that length in the spine, but rather reaching through your sitting bones than over bending your knees, overextending your knees. Find also a little bit of support from your palms, from your front ribs, but relax your neck. Right leg will come up, inhale. And exhale, knee to the chest. Transfer the weight forward. Step the foot from the inside of your right palm. And then we will first transfer whole weight onto the right leg, lifting the upper body already. So whole weight is on the front. Then lift the back foot using your left glutes without extending the right knee. Stay here. Inhale. And then exhale, push the right leg straight. Bring the left knee to your chest. And then come up into standing. Inhale, flex the right heel, press the foot forward. Stay here for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release. Shake your legs a little bit. Since we're going to go again into the same leg, take a little break again. Then find your stance. Left knee will come to your chest. We'll focus on squeezing in, but also lengthening through the top of the head. Palms can come to your chest. The right leg is active. Even imagining that you want to lift a little bit your left hip higher than the right helps your outer right glutes or hip muscles to work on stability in your right hip. Flex your left ankle and we're going to press it forward. Exhaling. Inhale, bend, squeeze the knee in. Exhale, press higher. And then inhale back. Exhale, legs straight down, but hovering. Inhale. And exhale, hinging in the hips. Bending halfway or maybe less. Inhale, come up. So your hamstrings are working on bringing you up. And then exhale, they are working on also not allowing you to collapse down as you bend forward. Inhale, find length to the top of the head. Exhale, left leg comes back into your third warrior Virabhadrasana 3. Then you can imagine first to lengthen to find support for your spine, bringing the ribs in as you exhale. And then inhale, find the opposite. Bring those ribs out, lift the back heel, back of the thigh up, arms up, and exhale, step the left foot back, palms down, right foot back. Inhale in your plank, exhale, Nistya Chin or Chaturanga, any way down. Inhale into your back bend, and exhaling, downward facing dog. Left leg will come up. And this is already almost like a split. So focus on lengthening here, squeezing the inner thighs. Exhale, knee to your chest. Step it forward. Again, transferring forward, finding length in the spine. Palms to your chest. First, lift your back foot, keeping the back knee straight. And then exhaling, press from your left foot straight. Right into your chest. Come up into your one-legged Tadasana. And then exhale, press through your right heel forward. Stay there for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Shake your legs. Shake your arms, maybe also. We'll go back to the downward facing dog. You can bring the feet as wide as your mat, opening your feet a little bit, palms to your chest or grab your palms. Inhale, lengthen and exhale, bend the knees out as you sit into this nice Malasana, opening or stretching also the inner thighs as you keep your spine supported, your sitting bones reaching back, and working again on those muscles on the outer side of your hips. Then bring the palms down. You can take a little hop or step back into your downward facing dog. Right leg will come up. Inhale. Exhale, knee to the chest. Step the right foot forward. Left knee down. Anjaneya or low lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up. And this pose, exhale, you can bring the palms onto your thigh. Is here for one thing mostly. In splits, for your left hip to open. For that, you can do several things. You can engage from your glutes to have a release action onto the front of your thigh, but activating the whole leg will help also engage from your hamstrings maybe. So pressing from your back foot will engage also your quadriceps as if you wanted to bring your knee straight. So you're protecting it while you're stretching these muscles, and then imagining that you want to bend the knee at the same time to also engage from your hamstrings a little bit. And then bringing the ribs in to allow the slow spine to be a little bit straighter, so you're not trying to go for back bend, but rather to open the hip. You can also press from your palms a little bit to help it, but you're still using your back leg quite a lot. Doesn't matter what you're doing with your toes on the back leg, they can be extended, they can be tucked into the mat. Inhale, and then exhale, fingertips down, going for the opposite. Flex your right ankle dorsally, find length through the top of the head. Exhale, you can step the back knee a little bit more back, just so when you come back, With your hips, they end up over the left knee. Inhale, rebend the right knee. Come forward. Squeeze your left glutes. Exhale, back. Same thing on the right leg. We are trying to engage from the hamstrings as we are stretching them. You can walk the fingertips right underneath the shoulders so you have the biggest length away from the ground. And you imagine that you want to press from the heel down, engaging those hamstrings. As you inhale, you lengthen. As you exhale, you resist, but you fold. And if you like to make it even more spicy, you lift, you create a back bend at your low back, or it's more the natural kind of back bend curvature by sticking the sitting bones rather instead of having them squeezing down. You stick them back, inhale, and then exhale. You keep it as you fold. And then lift round the spine, squeeze the belly in, lift the right heel, step it forward a little bit closer or slide it forward. Bring the weight onto your right leg, fingertips forward, lift the back leg. Another kind of pose where you can work on strengthening rather than just going passively into a split position. Here, if you want to make it deeper, you bring more the weight forward over your toes at any point. But first, maybe you bend both knees and you work on stabilizing your hips by squeezing your inner thighs so your left hip doesn't open all the way. You want to keep it squared somewhat down towards the ground. It will open a little bit, although. And you can use your right hand, grabbing behind your right ankle, inhaling, lengthening again, sticking your sitting bones a little bit higher, and then exhaling, extending from both knees, reaching up, using your left glutes but your inner thighs at the same time as you are transferring the weight over to your toes. Hold here for one more breath. Super strong legs, a lot of length, and also centering. Exhale, step the left shin behind the right foot on the outer side of the right foot, sit back. Just a little bit of a break here in a twist. Bring the right knee in, right fingertips behind you, left arm comes up. Find length, exhale. Elbow can come from the outer edge of your right knee in order to first inhale, finding the length, straightening the spine, exhaling, twisting. Any variation for your arms, work here, doesn't matter. Just focus on the twist, on the length, on your breath. Then inhale, find the twist on the other side. Just to counter what we did. And then you can go all the way to the back. Stepping the palms down, feet back, going through vinyasa to recenter, rebalance, reset. Second side, left leg will come up. Inhaling, exhale, knee to the chest. Step it from the inside of your left palm. And you can already see that I'm stepping the right foot a little bit more back, just to already have like more distance that will eventually lead into that full of splits. Reach your arms up if you like. Inhale, exhale. You can release the palms onto your knee, maybe crossing them the other way. So focusing on your right leg first, opening the front hip. Inhale, bring your upper body away, ribs in, and exhale, press from your back foot into the ground, imagining that you want to extend the back knee, almost even maybe lifting it away, but then imagining you want to bend it at the same time. That brings like another dimension to the whole thing. And you feel like that hip is much, and also the knee is much safer. Although you are really pushing it forward, you're really warming it up, and you're keeping all those joints safe by engaging all those muscles around them. Inhale, exhale, fingertips down, walk the back knee a little bit more back, flex the left ankle, find length in the spine, through the back of the neck. Exhale, back into your half splits. Inhale forward, exhale back into your Ardha Hanumanasana or half monkey pose. Again, if you like, spice it up, rebend the left knee a little bit, and then instead of tucking your tailbone, you want to be very proud dog by bringing your tail higher. So going for that sticking out of your bum, just can go forward, inhaling, press from your front heel super deep into the mat as you fold like that towards the ground, trying not to dip the left hip down. So you're still pressing from your right hip, with your left hip going slightly higher than the left. One more breath. And then come back. Sorry, not come back. Come back. Fingertips underneath your shoulders, we will round and trying to lift the heel. Even if it doesn't work, lift also your left hip a little bit so you can rebend and slide the foot closer. Fingertips come forward and you lift your right leg. So same thing on the other side. In your half splits, trying not to open. You can also try to open the hips just so you explore like how does it feel, how does it look, and then firm from your front inner thighs rather. You can bend the both knees, grabbing back side of your thigh, or sorry, your calf. Okay, my brain is stopping working now, so I hope I can make it until the end of the class with saying the right body proportions or body parts. Inhaling, find length. Blend your sitting bones a little bit higher. And then exhale, you can try to squeeze it all into that very, very long line. Even if it doesn't really reach the line, you're trying to reach as you squeeze the inner thighs. Do not open the hips. Inhale, maybe exhaling, transferring the weight more forward over the toes on the left foot, using your right glutes. And then slowly release, bringing the shin from the outside of your left foot. Both sitting bones will sit down. Bring the leg a little bit closer so the whole left foot is on the ground. Left fingertips behind you, right arm can come up. Inhale, strengthen or lengthen. Exhale into a twist. Elbow from the outside of the knee, or you can have your hand or your arm hugging your thigh. Inhale, find length, long back of the neck. Exhale, twist and enjoy it there for 2 breaths. And then come into a counter twist. You should feel good, and you can continue in that movement to come back, probably on the front side of your mat. You can bring the knees down and sitting back. So you're going for a full split. It can be whatever you like it to be. Just trying to spread your legs and remember all those things. This is going to be more complex since you're going to work on the front, but also the back leg at the same time. Good. Coming to that low lunge first. So preparing from there. You can bring the fingertips down onto the mat. Inhaling, find length. Find the strength in the back leg. Exhaling, half splits. And then you can do the same thing as we did before by lifting the heel and then bringing it a little bit more forward, or just sliding or wiggling it forward. And I like to keep my ankles flexed dorsally in this way, but it also feels very different when you flex the ankles palmar flexion. I don't think that's the word. The other way. So it might feel different, might feel stronger. Try to focus on not locking your knees and trying to press from the front heel at the same time as from the back foot down into the mat as you press the hips down, squeezing your left glutes, and if you have your right leg forward, keeping your core in. And then I'm not a fan of using like support for your hips, because once you support them, you have, or you might have a tendency to relax. So even if your hips are on the ground, or you maybe use something to support your hips, try to keep that strength. Even if you remove your hands, how much can you actually press into the ground to engage from those muscles as you're stretching them? If you have the stability here, maybe you reach your arms up, feels again a little bit different, and then release down, slowly coming back. You can lift your front leg, maybe taking a vinyasa to reset your body, or just sitting back onto your thighs, onto your heels, and taking a little bit of a break. If you had too much pressure on your fingertips as you had your fingers on the ground, you can move them a little bit to release those little joints on your fingers. And then change sides. Also, if you have troubles reaching the ground, having blocks from the sides like this will help you to find more distance away from the ground. So that's good thing to have. Starting on the low lunge on the other side. Inhale, engage from the back leg, your back glutes, your hamstrings, quadriceps, all the muscles. Exhale, come back, lose that everything that you worked on the left leg, but engaging from the front leg. And again, you can bring the heel up and then step it more forward. Also walk the back foot back, wiggle, shuffle until you find your depth. And it doesn't matter if your knees are bent here or not. You can do whatever you want. It's more about, again, those feelings than how the pose looks like. And eventually, if you do this often, and I'm not talking about this pose, the final pose, but all those prep poses, eventually one day you might find yourself a little bit deeper in those hips, maybe even sitting all the way down, maybe sitting on a block. Again, experiment what you're going to do with your ankles, bringing the engagement all the way, maybe reaching your arms up if you have the balance, but keeping the legs pressing down. Your right glutes are working on squaring the hips forward. Inhale and exhale, coming back with control, very, very controlled way, keeping the muscles working, since this is where most of the injuries happen, when you are coming into a pose and you lose your focus, or when you're going out of the pose, you don't have enough strength. So we always keep enough strength. Again, you can reset vinyasa or just sit. You can close your eyes. Going into child's pose is an option. Going into Shavasana, lying on your back. And what's good about the splits is that you have everything. You have the counter on one side as you're doing the other side. And if you did bring your arms above the head, you also did a little bit of back bending. So you worked on countering all the forward folds, but you can also, you're free to take a few back bends here after all that forward folding, just to counter everything that we did in that folding. But I'm going to say goodbye to you right now. Have a great day or good night, and see you in the next video. Thank you so much.